And concerns are rising over what the end of Title 42 means for both human and drug smuggling efforts. This as the United States grapples with a fentanyl crisis. Joining us now is Derek Maltz, a 28-year veteran of the DEA. He was the special agent in charge of the Department of Justice Special Operations Division. Derek, thanks for being with us this morning.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. The pandemic era policy, as you know, 8 hours ago, it's officially ended. We have already seen the nation's public safety impacted. So how do you see it changing as we move forward here?
Well, number one, first of all, ending Title 42 is a huge victory for the Mexican cartels, the Chinese criminal networks, and the soft on crime, corrupt leaders in Mexico, because they're making billions of dollars and they're destroying our country. This is a recipe for disaster. And right now, like the mayor of Laredo said, they're boarding up their businesses and everything like there's a hurricane coming. Well, there is a hurricane. There's a tsunami of drugs, a tsunami of people, and everyone in the world, perception's reality. This administration's been telling everyone in America, if you come here, you could get into the country. Now, all of a sudden, the Secretary of Homeland Security is tough, and he's saying the border's closed, you're going to face consequences. Well, it's too late. And they're lined up. We have 60,000 migrants ready to come in.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
and with that hurricane, and let's talk about just outside of people, right? That hurricane that you're talking about coming, I'm sure we'll get new numbers this weekend. Derek, look at last weekend. I mean, aside from the 26,000 migrant apprehensions, agents stopped 11 pounds of fentanyl, 83 pounds of meth, 66 pounds of cocaine, 5 pounds of heroin. Officials in Texas and California have seized enough fentanyl to kill the entire country a few times over. As you know, fentanyl poisoning also becoming more prevalent among our youth. I mean, how much more will the drug trafficking increase here, do you think?
It's going to explode. And unfortunately, all our young citizens are dying, our future generation. So let me just give you some numbers just to put it in perspective. In fiscal year 2020, when Donald Trump was the president, there were 236,000 apprehensions, okay? In the first 6 months of 23, there's 1.2 million. Now let's look at the drugs, okay? When you look at the drugs, when Donald Trump was the president, there were 1,326 pounds of fentanyl seized in the first 6 months. Now we have, 13.9 thousand pounds. That's a 948% increase. So that gives you an idea. The cartels are flooding the zone with migrants so they can bring the high-value targets and the drugs into the country over the border. And they're also sending their operatives all over America to set up their business.
And Derek, just in a few seconds left here, one last question. To be fair, the Biden administration has threatened more serious consequences. Do you think that'll do anything?
Well, look, it may be, positive that he's saying that, but I want to see action, not words. Where the hell is the border czar, by the way? They told us that the border czar was going to solve this. We don't even know where she is. So I don't believe what they're saying. The Border Patrol
Derek,
on the ground.
I'm so sorry to cut you off.
No problem.
That border czar would be Kamala Harris. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.